He's on the beat.
Diamonds glitced out, say bitch I'm dripped out. I kick a bitch out, cause I'm a big dog. I'm talking big speakers, not talking 612s. I got a big fever, I'm on a big scale. The codfish tail, I'm talking big shit, just like I'm 6'6", tryna get that big fish. Bitch I'm a big switch, because I'm ballin'. Not talking ball fade, I'm talking Spalding. My niggas ballin', my niggas big dive. I'm feeling big time, cause I'm the shit now. Oh, that's a big move, I ain't got shit to prove, and that's a big fact, I'm making big moves.
What's down with it, YouTube?
What the business is? Who the witness?
It's your boy Breeze, and I'm back at you with another video. Now, I'm sorry that I'm late. I'm sorry it's been a while, but I've been really busy with trying to, get back in school and all that. So, But anyway, today we will be reacting to a video named NBA Players That Almost Died. Shout out to Rebound. I'ma plug their channel in my description, and y'all just go follow them, or if you wanna watch the video on your own, follow them. But without further ado, let's get to the video.
Comes at you fast. 1 minute you're playing basketball, the next you're on a train back home, going 150 miles per hour
Ain't no
as
way.
it flies off its tracks.
No way.
These are
See?
NBA players that almost died. And that train accident, that's exactly what happened to Nikola Vucevic. Back in 2006,
I ain't riding trains no more. Mark me now. I'm not riding train no more. After that, no.
Nikola was playing youth basketball in Montenegro. Him and his team, they had to get on a train to travel for a road game the next day. Everything seemed normal. Nikola and hundreds of others were doing what they do, just riding a train. But out of nowhere, everything changed. The train felt like it was floating, free-falling, completely detached from reality, as Nikola heard nothing but screams before he blacked out.
So was that his train on this video, or that just some random train? Cause ain't no way.
Nikola was awake. He could still see, hear, smell. He was alive, working his way through broken glass. Nikola stood up,
Ain't no way.
looked around, and realized just how lucky he was. This tragedy all happened because the train's brakes failed, causing the train to derail. Now, Nikola isn't the only player that's had it rough, because LaMelo Ball was almost
Mellow boy.
murdered. Yeah. Back when LaMelo was just 4 years old, his dad took him to a gym in LA. At first, things were going great. He was playing ball, having a good family time. Until some adults started arguing across the gym. Now, being a curious kid, LaMelo wanted to go see the action. And while he was watching this argument go down, he heard one of the guys say, "I'ma be back," before walking out the front door. And once this
Whenever you in the hood and you hear that, I'm gonna be back, or I'm finna go out to my car or something, you better get out of Dodge, cause they finna go get that tool on you. Yeah.
dude left, LaMelo got back to playing basketball with his dad. Everything seemed normal. But just a few minutes later, the gym door burst open and LaMelo saw that same dude walk back in. Except this time, he started shooting up the entire gym. LaMelo saw everyone around him start screaming and running for the exits, but he was in so much shock that he just dropped his basketball and froze. LaMelo was just a child, seeing his short life flash before his eyes, thinking, is this already the end? But all of a sudden, LaMelo was scooped up into someone's arms and swung over their shoulders. And as he heard bullets flying past his head, he was carried
I'm sorry, but ooh, Melo was ugly.
out of the gym. LaMelo barely made it out with his life. And when he looked up to see who rescued him,
Lonzo, typical light skin
it was none
eyes.
other than his dad, LeVar Ball. Damn. To think that we almost lost LaMelo before we even knew him. It's crazy. But at least LaMelo left without a scratch. Because Paul Pierce, on the other hand, he messed with the wrong woman. And the consequences left him fighting for his life. See,
He's so dramatic. I know you have cramps, but golly.
back in September of 2000, Pierce and his boys decided to hit up the Buzz nightclub in Boston. And being single at the time, Pierce started talking to some girls. You know, spitting some game. But there was one girl that really caught his eye. So Pierce approached, bought her a drink, and of course they hit it off. But I don't really think her boyfriend liked that too much. Yeah, she already had a man, and he was watching this whole thing happen from across the bar.
See, girls be lying. Y'all can't trust no girls. They be lying. They say dudes lie. We don't really lie. Women lie.
So the dude walked up, got right in Pierce's face, and told him to get the f*** out. But Pierce wasn't about to leave. He was just getting started. So he argued back, saying that he thought she was single, and that it was just a misunderstanding. The boyfriend wasn't hearing it though, and he decided to squash this beef for good. So he called over his boys from across the room, and what happened next almost killed Paul Pierce. 3 dudes pulled out knives and started stabbing him 3 times in the stomach and 5 times in the back. And as they were about to run away, they even hit Paul Pierce in the face with a beer bottle, sending him straight to the ground, laying in a pool of his own blood. This seemed like the end. And suddenly, 2 of Pierce's boys showed up and rushed him straight to the ER, where Pierce got emergency surgery.
Them real friends. I promise you, they real friends.
And after 2 days
Give them about $5 million each, just for that.
in the hospital, his life was saved, making this the most traumatic moment of his entire life. Now, knives and stabbing, that's one thing. But looking down the barrel of a gun, that's a whole different level that Damian Lillard had to fight through. Back in 2008, Dame was waiting at a bus stop after practice one night, all by himself. And when 3 guys walked by, they didn't see Dame. They saw an opportunity. The guys walked up to Dame and demanded that he hand over his backpack. Now, at this point, Dame was in high school, and he was nearly 6 feet tall. I mean, he thought that he was a grown-ass man, so he wasn't about to let these guys rob him for his stuff. Dame thought he could stand up to these guys, and they'd walk away, just like you see in the movies. And that's when Dame looked each of them in their eyes, told them to step off, and said that he wasn't giving them a damn thing. But this was a big mistake, because what happened next almost ended Dame's life. One of the men lunged at him, and they started fighting for the bag. And at first, Dame was able to defend himself. But eventually, the guys decided enough was enough. One of them pulled out a gun and pointed it right in Dame's face, stopping him in his tracks. Suddenly, Dame didn't feel so big and tough anymore. He was staring down the barrel of a gun, and he saw his NBA dreams just slipping away.
Moral of the story, it don't matter how big, how tough you think you is, that gun gonna get you every time, I promise you. You not Superman. If somebody try to rob you, give them the stuff. You can get more of the stuff, but you only got one life. Keep that in mind.
Dame thought it was over for him, but luckily, the gun was put away. The dudes grabbed his bag and ran off down the street. And even though he didn't get shot that night, this moment changed him for the rest of his life. Fast forward to a 2016 interview, and Dame reflected on his near-death experience, saying, "This was one of those moments when I realized how serious it is in Oakland, how at risk you are growing up in a place like that. It made me sharper, it made me more alert. I had a different appreciation just walking around and living and being free." Man, I was a fan of Dame already, but I've got a different appreciation for him after this. I mean, just imagine the NBA without Damian Lillard. It wouldn't be the same. But that's not to say that the NBA itself is safe. I mean, Rudy Tomjanovich almost got killed by another NBA player on the court. See, back in 1977, Rudy's Rockets were facing the Lakers when a fight broke out at center court. That's when Rudy decided to come and try to help break things up. But there was one Lakers player, Kermit Washington, who had the wrong idea.
Other than what you heard, the only three players down on that play that at that time was myself, Kareem, and Kevin Cooner. A scuffle broke up between me and Kevin Cooner. And as that was being
He just imagine come try to break up a fight and somebody just hit you. All you see is black. He hit him. I know you felt it.
taken out, I saw something from the corner of my eye. It was really running at me 100 miles an hour. And I swung. And that was a mistake that I made in judgment. Now I look back at it. And Rudy was hurt really badly. So that was the beginning of the whole thing.
Rudy got absolutely sucker punched right in the face and immediately dropped to the floor. But this was just one punch. I mean, how bad could it be? Well, Rudy was completely unconscious. So his coach decided to rush him to the ER. And that's where he had his face surgically repaired. And after waking up in a hospital bed, Rudy found out just how bad his injuries were. He had a broken nose, fractured jaw and skull, cracked cheekbones, and a concussion. His entire head was literally broken. I mean, if he had taken just one more punch, he would have died on the court. But luckily, he didn't. And after 15 days in a LA hospital, Rudy's life was saved, and he was forced to wear a face mask for the rest of his career. As for the dude that punched him, he was only fined $10,000.
I bet after that punch, he put that mask on. He became Mask LeBron, Mask Kyrie, Mask Kobe, all in one. Tell him. I bet he played 10,000 times better with that little mask on.
10 grand for almost ending a life. Unbelievable. But there is one player who actually did die and then came back to life. I'm talking about Lamar Odom. It all started when Lamar was just a kid. He had things pretty rough. His father was always using drugs, and his mom died when he was 12. So, to distract himself from all the pain he was feeling, he started playing basketball. But eventually, Lamar discovered a deadly way to keep his demons in check. See, in 2003, at a party in Miami, Lamar tried drugs for the first time, and he was hooked immediately. And over the next few years, while playing for the Lakers, he developed an addiction. Now, Lamar didn't let it affect him on the court, so he was able to keep his issue a secret from everyone. But fast forward to 2009, and by the time he married Khloe Kardashian, he was living two completely different lives. One day he'd be with his family, filming TV shows, just living the life of an NBA superstar.
Ooh.
Them people no good. They, all them women. Never mind.
You see Kim's car that she has in the front yard? Lamar can't fit in it.
It's dope.
But the next day, he'd be in the club after a Lakers game, doing massive amounts of drugs. By 2011, Lamar's demons had him in a chokehold. All he wanted to do was get high. So he fell out of shape, and his play got so bad, he was out of the NBA entirely by 2013. And at this point, his problem had taken control of his life, and he just couldn't hide it anymore. So one night, after threatening his wife during a drug-fueled rage, Lamar got kicked out of the house for good. And that is when things got deadly. With no one to turn to and nothing else to do, he started using drugs every day for 2 straight years. And eventually, his body couldn't take it anymore. In October of 2015, Lamar was partying at a club in Crystal, Nevada, and blacked out on the dance floor. He was rushed to a hospital in Las Vegas and went into a coma. Lamar suffered kidney failure, had 12 different strokes, and 6.
How he still alive? This dude had 12 strokes, 6 heart attacks. What? God telling you.
heart attacks, all while he was unconscious. He was put on life support and given a feeding tube. The doctors even called his family and told him to come to the hospital to say their final goodbyes. And after 3 days in a coma, his doctor was ready to officially rule him dead when, out of nowhere, Lamar opened his eyes and came back to life. Now, he wasn't able to walk or talk and had to completely relearn how to just live. But he was alive. And doctors said it was an absolute miracle. Odom was then flown to a hospital in LA where he spent the next few months in rehab. And it's been a long road to recovery ever since. I mean, Odom is still working on getting healthy to this day.
How much of a difference did it make to you getting professional help?
I think I'm still pretty much doing that. Whenever I tell my story, it works as a form of therapy for me.
Does it?
Yeah, I feel lighter. Just don't feel like anything can hold me back. Feel less shameful. Feel a little more proud.
Prayers up to Lamar, man. We're rooting for you, dog. That was a tough section to get through. But Nick Young's story, on the other hand, is just weird. See, Nick found out he has an enemy that wants to drown him. Back when Nick was dating Iggy Azalea, they wanted to go on a cute little date. So they thought, hey, let's go swim with some dolphins. They packed their bags, flew to Cabo, and hit up a local aquarium. But this would turn out to be a deadly mistake, because when Nick jumped in the water with some dolphins, he immediately realized that he didn't drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, that's right, bad things happen when you don't support the channel. Some people even call it a curse. And I know you don't want that, so what are you doing? But anyways, Nick also realized he wasn't swimming with an ordinary dolphin. No. This dolphin was psychotic and out for blood.
Long story, vacation. Dolphin was trying to kill me for some reason. He was playing with everybody else. Doing what dolphins do, the ant and all that. Everybody went around circles, hanging on a little fin, And when I went on, he didn't go around. He just went straight down. So he was trying to kill me. So yeah, he's trying to drown me, but I seen it happening, so I jumped out the water and took off the little life vest and just threw my house, my little water shoes, and I stayed outside.
Wait a minute. I know this dolphin. This is the same dolphin that tried to kill Kevin Hart. Gotta watch out for these dolphins, man. I think they're smarter than we realize. I'm just...
See, all these wild animals and these little things, and y'all just trust them. I'm not swimming with no dolphin, no, what they call orcas, none of that. I saw Free Willy, and I saw, no.
Thankful Nick is still alive. That was a close one. But Steph Curry should be thankful too, because he almost died.
Can you just imagine life, NBA, without Stephen Curry, Chef Curry? I couldn't.
And it wasn't even his fault. See, back in November of 2018, Curry was driving his Porsche on a highway in Oakland when all of a sudden, a white Lexus went to switch lanes, spun out of control, and crashed into the front of Curry's car, sending him into the guardrail. And this was horrifying. Now, Curry was stuck in his car in the middle of a highway, surrounded by other cars going 80 miles per hour. And to make things worse, while Curry was waiting for the police to show up, a black Honda lost control too, and it crashed into him from behind. But miraculously, Curry wasn't hurt, and he knew he was pretty lucky to leave the scene without even a scratch. His car was completely totaled, and all it would have taken is a hit from one wrong angle, and Curry could have died on the spot, or at the very least, suffered a career-ending injury. So,
But God.
Curry only had one man to thank. God.
See?
But hey, at least Curry only lost his car, because some NBA players end up losing everything. Like, one player literally lost $100 million because he had...
Lord, if you ever give me that bag, 100 mil, I will not waste it. I will not. I promise you.
attacked his coach. Another pulled out a strap on his teammate and lost tens of millions. It's ridiculous. Oh, you want to hear more about that? Then click on this video. These are the mistakes that cost NBA players millions.
Okay. Well, that's all, folks. I don't know. Thank God none of these players was harmed. But, you know, yeah. It could have been worse, but that's all, folks. That's all for this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do all this. Show some love. I love y'all. Thank y'all.
Man, I'm rolling like a 18-wheeler. Turned up, bitch, I'm on them fucking jiggers. Throw me back, throw me back, throw me back. In the club, wherever the pills at, bitch, rolling like